You think the first kiss is the climax. No, for a man, that kiss is just the opening scene in a much deeper story. What happens after? That's what truly defines the relationship, the intention, the future. And if you don't get what a man really wants next, you risk everything. That first kiss, it's electric, it's real, it's full of possibility. But what comes after is where everything starts to unfold. A man may not say it out loud, but after that first moment of vulnerability, there are 5 core things he's searching for. 5 deep desires that shape how he sees you. The bond and where it's all headed when a man leans in for that first kiss. It's easy to think it's just about attraction, about the physical spark, the chemistry, the moment. But if you look deeper, if you get the masculine psyche beneath the surface, you'll realize that what he's actually showing you in that kiss is a form of vulnerability. And that vulnerability is not something most men give away easily. Society teaches men to be stoic, controlled, careful. They're taught to hide their emotions, to never flinch, to walk through life armored up. So when a man kisses you first, especially with genuine intention, he's letting his guard down for a moment. He's choosing to show you a side that the world often tells him to suppress. He's putting himself at emotional risk, rejection, judgment, confusion, and he's doing it anyway. That moment is not just a kiss, it's a signal. He's asking in his own silent way, can you see me? Can you hold this version of me with respect? And how you respond to that, not just in that moment, but in the hours and days that follow, tells him everything. What a man wants after that first kiss is respect for that vulnerability. Not pity, not power over him, not silence, confusion or control, but respect. He wants to know that he hasn't just given something of himself to someone who doesn't see the weight of it. This doesn't mean he wants you to baby him or put him on a pedestal. It means he wants to feel recognized for what he just did. He made a move that exposed his intentions, his interest, and maybe even his emotions. And if that moment is met with dismissiveness, sarcasm, coldness, or detachment, it sparks something deep in him. A feeling that vulnerability is a weakness, not a strength. That he should have kept it hidden in the first place. And many men, when that happens, withdraw. They pull back, close off, and try and move on, not because they didn't care, but because they didn't feel comfortable enough to keep going. Respect in this context looks like presence. It looks like appreciation. It looks like meeting him where he's at emotionally, even if you're not sure yet how deep you want to go. You don't have to match his level of feeling, but you do need to honor it. That means be careful of the energy you put out, the way you respond to his communication, and the signals you send in the aftermath. If he texts you, acknowledge it. If he opens up more, listen. If he's showing you more of who he is, don't dismiss it. Appreciate the courage it takes. These small acts of emotional respect build a base that a man can grow on, because when a man feels that his vulnerability is safely kept with you, something remarkable happens. He becomes more open, more honest, more connected to his purpose. He starts seeing you not just as someone he kissed, but someone he can trust, someone he can build something with. This is where a real bond starts. It's not in the kiss itself, but in how you handle the feeling that comes after it. Many relationships stay shallow because the emotional safety net is never woven. A man might feel attraction, but if he doesn't feel valued at his core, if he senses that his vulnerability is being treated casually or even used against him, he'll withdraw. And when a man withdraws emotionally, it's hard for him to come back. This is why the first kiss is not a destination, it's a door. And how you move through it matters. If you want to build something deep and true, understanding this is key. A man's vulnerability is rare, and when it shows up, honoring it matters. Don't dismiss it, don't take it for granted. Don't confuse confidence with invincibility. The strongest men often carry deep scars, and that kiss might have taken more courage than you realize. He may not say it, but it's there. And if you can appreciate that silent courage and treat it with dignity, you create a space that draws more of his heart forward, not just his attention. There's power in being the woman who sees what others miss. You're the one who doesn't chase sparks for a moment, but understands the rich soil from which those sparks grow. That's the woman a man remembers. That's the woman he protects, invests in, and commits to. Not because she played games, but because she understood that a kiss isn't just physical, it's a form of communication. It's his way of asking, can you meet me here? And if your answer is yes, not just with words, but with understanding and genuine respect, then that kiss becomes a starting point for everything that comes after. Many relationships break because people don't appreciate the depth of that first moment. They think it's all just fun, just a spark, and sure, sometimes it is. But when it's real, when a man puts his soul into it, you can't miss the weight of what's being exchanged. Honor the moment, honor the man, and honor the side of you that wants something more. That's how love starts. Not with games, but with honesty. And it all begins the moment that first kiss settles. After the first kiss, when the initial rush drops and the feeling of new possibilities starts to blend into the background of everyday life, what a man is looking for is something far more lasting: consistency. You might think that the spark of uncertainty, the rush of chaos, will keep him interested, but that's a myth. Sure, sparks are wonderful. Who doesn't love a rush of feeling or the excitement of something new? But deep down, what a man truly wants is something more grounded, something more stable. Consistency doesn't destroy the spark, it nurtures it. Without it, the flame that started with such feeling can quickly fade into a dim glow, leaving both people unsure, confused, and disconnected. Consistency when it comes to relationships means that you're not just depending on brief moments of feeling to keep it alive. It's about adding piece by piece through dependable actions, clear words, and shared understanding. A man wants to know that after the first kiss, the feeling he felt is something he can rely on continuing. And it's not just a short feeling, it's something that grows. This means he doesn't have to question whether you'll follow through on your promises, whether you'll be there when you say you will, or whether you'll suddenly disappear into silence for days at a time. A man wants to know that what he felt in you during that first kiss, the connection is something that can last, and he's not just looking for surface consistency. He's looking for something deep, something emotional. It's a feeling that your moods and reactions aren't wild or confusing. It's a feeling that you are reliable. This doesn't mean ignoring your own needs or suppressing your emotions. It means communicating honestly, openly, and without needless drama. It's about honoring what you started together and letting it grow. A man feels safest when there is consistency, when there are no dramatic swings, when there is a calm center to your bond. Chaos might feel exhilarating at first, but it's tiring, it's confusing, it's hard to grow roots in chaos. A man wants peace, stability, a feeling that this is something he can put his trust in. When that's present, then the spark transforms into a flame that can last much longer and eliminate the future for both of you. A healthy, progressive way. He wants to see that you're someone who values trust, respect, and stability, because these are the things that create a deep, lasting bond. When it comes to how you communicate, consistency means being honest and clear. It means saying what you mean and meaning what you say. It means not playing games with words, but instead being direct and genuine. A man doesn't want to guess your intentions or wonder whether you're just saying what he wants to hear in the moment. He wants clarity and honesty, because those things allow him to feel comfortable enough to let his guard down. The steady flow of communication builds trust. It lets him know that when you say you'll be there, you will be there. When you say you care, he knows you truly care. That isn't to say that a bit of surprise or excitement isn't a wonderful part of a relationship. Of course it is. But consistency is what makes a relationship strong. Consistency provides a feeling of stability and peace, a base that lets the relationship grow. It means there's a reliable ground under you, so when something unexpected happens, you can handle it together instead of falling into chaos or confusion. On a more practical level, consistency also means honoring each other's time. Time is a kind of currency in relationships, and how you show up for each other speaks volumes about your priorities. A man values a woman who respects his time just as much as he respects hers. It's about honoring promises, following through with plans, and putting in the effort to keep the relationship alive. If you say you're going to do something, you do it. If you make plans, you follow through. That kind of consistency lets a man know you're serious and that you care about honoring your word. He doesn't want to be the only one putting in effort while the other person waits for things to happen. The dynamic has to be reciprocal. Both people should be investing in the bond. Ideally, consistency lets the relationship flow naturally. A man doesn't want to be constantly battling just to keep things together. He wants to feel like he's growing alongside you, not struggling against you. When both people are emotionally consistent, trust deepens, attachment grows, and the relationship develops a strong base to flourish. It doesn't mean that every day will be perfect or without struggles, but it does mean you have the ability to face those struggles together. The key to a lasting connection isn't creating constant excitement or dramatic moments. It's about building a strong, steady bond. It's about having a deep peace, a feeling of safety, and a rich ground for growing in love. Without consistency, a relationship is fragile and weak, easily shaken by the first strong breeze of uncertainty. But with it, a man can trust that what you have is real, stable, and meant to last. That's the kind of foundation a relationship needs to flourish. The chaos of emotional uncertainty might be exhilarating for a short while, but it's the consistency that brings true power and staying force. Emotional safety is a key piece of a strong bond, yet it's often misunderstood or neglected. After that first kiss, a relationship starts to move forward into a more intimate space. It's not just about physical attraction. It's about whether two people can connect on a deep, vulnerable level. It's about whether a man feels emotionally comfortable enough to let down his defenses and show his true self. When a man feels emotionally safe, he drops his guard. He lets you in on his doubts, his worries, his past, his struggles. He reveals the parts of himself that are hidden from the rest of the world because those parts are vulnerable. Society often teaches men to stay tough, closed off and distant. So when a man lets you in, it's a huge step. It signals deep trust. But for that to happen, a man needs to know you can handle his vulnerability. He needs to know you won't dismiss him, shame him, or use his weaknesses against him. That kind of safety comes from patience, understanding, and compassion. It comes from honoring him and loving him without judgment. A man wants a woman who can appreciate his whole self, not just the strong, successful side, but also his doubts, his struggles, and his disappointments. When a man finds a woman who accepts him this way, it's a powerful experience. It lets him be more, to grow more, and to become the person he truly wants to be. It lets him connect more deeply, to bond more strongly, and to appreciate the relationship in a way that's hard to find elsewhere. The ability to be vulnerable is a huge form of trust, and when a man lets you in, it's a sign that you have earned a special place in his life. Emotional safety isn't about ignoring problems or staying silent when there are issues. It's about addressing those issues with compassion and understanding. It's about honoring each other's dignity and worth. It's about listening without judgment, validating each other's experiences, and honoring the feeling that you're both a team. Not enemies, not rivals, but two people growing together. This kind of environment lets a man flourish. It lets him put aside the protective walls that society has demanded of him and be his true self. It lets him connect honestly and openly. It lets him appreciate you in a deep, profound way, not just for your physical attraction or your charming traits, but for your ability to create a space where vulnerability is safely held and valued. For many men, this kind of sanctuary is a rare and precious place. It's something that must be earned, not demanded. It grows over time through patience, understanding, and deep compassion. It's a place where two people can be real, without masks, without doubts, without defenses. A place where love can grow strong and true. When a man finds this in a relationship, it's something he will appreciate profoundly. It's a bond that can carry you through years of happiness, struggles, and growing together. It's a connection that lets you become more together than you could be on your own. That's the power of emotional safety consistency, and vulnerability in a relationship. What transforms a spark into a deep, enduring love? Partner who can hold space for his imperfections. Someone who sees the whole person, his strengths and weaknesses, and loves him not in spite of his flaws, but because of the full picture of who he is. When emotional safety is present in a relationship, both partners are able to navigate challenges with a feeling of calm and toughness. There's less anxiety, less fear of conflict, and more willingness to face difficult conversations. A man feels safe enough to admit when he's wrong, to apologize, and to grow because he knows that your love and respect are not conditional on his perfection. This creates a place where both partners are free to evolve, to learn, and to deepen the connection without fear of rejection or abandonment. In essence, emotional safety lets both partners build a lasting foundation of trust and respect. It's not just about the moments of happiness or the highs that come with the early stages of attraction. It's about being able to face the lows together, the moments when life throws problems your way. It's about knowing that no matter what happens, you have each other's back. When a man feels emotionally safe with a woman, it gives him the courage to invest in the relationship fully. He knows that he doesn't have to guard himself against emotional harm. With this safety in place, the relationship has the potential to grow into something deeper, stronger, and more meaningful. A partnership where both people can show up as their true selves. Respect for himself and his time is a very powerful and often ignored piece in any successful relationship, especially after that first kiss. It's not just about the way a man values his time in terms of hours spent working or engaging in his passions. It's also about how much he values his emotional energy, his mental well-being, and his overall sense of worth. After that first kiss, a man wants to make sure the relationship is not just about surface attraction or brief moments of feeling close. He wants to know that his time, both emotionally and practically, is being put into something genuine, with potential. For a man, respect for himself means being able to tell when something feels right and worth his effort, and when it doesn't. It's about understanding his own worth and not settling for a relationship that drains him, disregards his boundaries, or doesn't match his values. If a man doesn't feel respected or valued, he'll slowly pull back. He's not willing to invest in something that feels like a waste of his emotional or mental energy. This self-respect reaches further than his goals. It's about feeling valued as a person in the relationship and knowing that the other person sees the worth of his time and contributions. At the center of respect for himself is the feeling of having clear emotional boundaries. A man wants to make sure that his own investment is matching the consideration and respect the other person shows him. After that first kiss, if a man feels that he's putting in more than he's getting back, emotionally, mentally, or physically, he will start to question the value of the relationship. He doesn't want to feel like he's always extending himself or investing in something that isn't being reciprocated. Respect for himself means that he is willing to step back and reflect on whether the relationship is meeting his needs or whether it's taking more from him than it's adding. In a healthy relationship, both people should feel supported, valued, and respected. If a man doesn't feel that his time and energy are valued, he may withdraw, either emotionally or physically, in order to protect himself. In addition to emotional boundaries, respect for time involves understanding how a man spends his energy. Time for a man is a limited resource. It's something that, once gone, can't be gotten back. He wants to make sure that he is spending his time in a way that adds to his happiness and peace of mind. This means that after the first kiss, he'll start to think about whether this relationship fits into his future plans, whether it brings him closer to his goals or if it pulls him away from them. A man values a woman who understands that his time is a valuable piece of his life. Ignoring his time or not honoring it shows a lack of respect. When a woman shows up when it matters, when she is consistent in her actions and communication, it signals to him that she values him and his time. When a woman respects a man's time, she knows that he has many responsibilities. His career, his passions, his goals, and she doesn't expect him to drop everything for her. Instead, she wants a relationship that is a fair exchange, not draining or unfair. A man who values himself is able to see when his time is not being valued, and he will withdraw if the relationship feels more like a one-sided effort. This respect for himself means that he knows his own worth and is unwilling to put his energy into something that feels unfair. After the first rush of attraction settles, a man will start to assess whether this relationship feels balanced, whether his time is valued, and whether there's a deep, true match in the way both people appreciate and care for each other. If he finds it's not, then he will slowly pull back. For a man, honoring his own worth means choosing a person who is willing to meet him halfway, someone who values him and is ready to put in effort. This respect for himself and his time also shows up in how much space he wants in a relationship. A man isn't looking for something that will take up all his energy or overwhelm him. He wants a relationship that lets him pursue his passions, grow, and maintain his independence. A man who values himself knows he can't lose himself in a relationship. He wants a woman who lets him be himself while honoring the bond they have together. This is a key part of self-respect. It's about having a balance between closeness and independence, honoring both the relationship and oneself. A man who respects his time also knows the importance of choosing relationships that align with his future goals. After the first kiss, he may start thinking about whether this relationship will help him grow or if it will hold him back. If the relationship feels right and true, then he'll invest more of himself in it. But if it feels heavy, draining, or not aligned with his future, then he will withdraw. Respect for his time means choosing relationships that bring happiness, peace, and progress. It means choosing a person who shares his goals and values, someone who wants the same future. This is what makes him want to stay and put in effort. Finally, respect for himself and his time is about setting clear boundaries. A man knows that in order to keep his peace and happiness, he has to be able to say no to things that are not good for him. He isn't going to stay in a situation that disregards him or drains him. After the first kiss, if he starts to feel the relationship is more trouble than happiness, more stress than peace, then he will back away. It's not about being hard or unfair. It's about honoring his own needs and understanding that a healthy relationship must be a two-way match. In the end, a man who values himself and his time is looking for a relationship that adds happiness, peace, and growth to his life. He wants a partnership where both people respect and appreciate each other. He knows the worth of his emotional energy, and he is only willing to put it into someone who values him just the same, who respects that worth, reciprocates it, and adds positively to his life. Without this self-respect, a man cannot be truly happy in a relationship because he will always feel like something is missing or that he's putting in too much without getting enough back in return. When both partners respect each other's time and independence, the relationship becomes a place of growing together, each person improving and blooming side by side. In conclusion, the journey after that first kiss is filled with potential, but it needs understanding, communication, and a shared view for the future. For a man, it's not just about the short spark or moment of happiness, it's about the deeper bond that can be made with someone who values consistency, emotional peace, clarity of purpose, partnership, and self-respect. These things lay the base for a lasting and rich relationship, one that can handle hard times and flourish over years. If both people can match their goals, respect each other's limits, and put in effort to grow together, they have a chance to create something really special. A man wants not just love, but a partnership, a relationship where both people grow together, help each other, and move forward toward shared goals. He wants a relationship where his time, energy, and emotions are valued, and where the bond is more than just a surface attraction. It reaches much deeper and feels more rich and true in the end. The most successful relationships are the ones where both people respect their own worth enough to ask for more than just short happiness. They are willing to put in the hard work, talk openly, and build a future together after that first kiss. It's not about sitting back and seeing what the other person will do. It's about seeing the potential for something wonderful and then putting in effort together to make it real. If both people share these values and match their efforts, the relationship will not only last, it will grow into something strong, rich, and remarkable. So remember, the first kiss is just the start. What truly matters is what comes after, and that's where the real magic happens. Who values that worth and answers back to it? adding happiness, peace, and maturity into their own life. Without honoring this worth, a man finds it hard to be content in a relationship because deep down he always feels something is not enough or it's unfair. When both people appreciate each other's time, goals, and freedom, their bond evolves into something much greater. It lets each person become their best self while growing together side by side. In the end, the path after the first kiss is filled with hope, but it depends on understanding, clear communication, and having a view for the future. A man is not looking for a short spark or something that quickly disappears. It's about the deep feeling that comes when two people connect honestly, appreciate their roles in each other's lives, and match their goals for the future. It's about choosing a person who adds peace, not chaos, who brings understanding, no confusion, who lets you grow instead of holding you back. These things form a strong base for something lasting, a relationship that can face trouble without falling, that can conquer hard days and come back even more united if both people match their goals, respect their limits, and put in true effort. Then their bond will become something remarkable, a deep love story not defined by a moment's feeling, but by years of growing, loving, honoring, and trusting each other. A man wants more than momentary happiness. He wants something strong, rich, and deep, a bond where both people care, appreciate, and empower each other. That's a relationship worth having. It's not about staying back and waiting. It's about choosing to move forward together, making sure their future is something they both want. If two people align their goals, match their patience, and appreciate each other's worth, the relationship will flourish and become something to celebrate, not just a brief feeling, but a deep bond that grows more rich and true over time. A man and a woman who respect their own worth will not let less into their lives. Instead, they will aim for something greater, something that brings peace, happiness, and a future filled with hope and unity. That's the magic we find after the first kiss, when we realize we have something worth honoring and growing together.